This is Scott Spears with Classic Championship Wrestling, and as you wrestling fans know, coming up on Saturday, February the 8th, it is the big spectacular Valentine Violence with a 7 p.m. start time at the Steve Hogg Rec Center located at 775 North Main Street in Marion. The list of matches, the card on this thing is absolutely gigantic. I'm going to get into that in a minute, but I do want to let you know you can buy your tickets for $8 a seat, which is an absolute bargain, cheaper than going to a movie nowadays, by heading over to U.S. Gold, located at 1207 Mount Vernon Avenue here in Marion, right next to Perkins. Get over there and get your seat now, because it's going to be a spectacular. It's going to be a spectacular for many reasons, but the main event that night is the main event, and they called it that for a reason, because it is a flag match. The Russian Brute reuniting with his manager, Ox Baker, after a 30-year absence to represent Russia against Nikolai Volkov, arguably the most famous Russian wrestler of all time, who on this night will be representing America. In his corner, a man who's no stranger to Ox Baker and the Russian Brute, Bobo Brazil Jr., Satch Solinger, Ohio State legend, special guest referee. But on that card, we have got matches galore. Uncle Hogg in action, Mikey the Maniac making his debut, but two matches that are very important to the man we have on the phone today are the matches his men are involved in, Outlaw Jack Hansen and Lockdown. We're going to go through those matches individually here, but I want to let you know we're joined by my broadcast colleague, the epitome of wrestling managers, Percival A. Friend. Percival, where are you?
Today I'm in El Paso, Texas, and I don't know how you got my cell phone number. You must have some pretty strong links back there in that Buckeye State. I'll tell you, I am just pumped up. I'm really, really excited about coming back to Marion. I don't know why, but I guess I am. And it's due to the fact that I have just bought out a couple of contracts that are going to make me a lot of money. Now, the first little guy, I'm saying little guy because they're littler than a lot of the guys that are on that card, like the big Russian Brute. I mean, that guy's 6'9", 350 pounds, and if you've seen the picture that I just posted, you'll understand why I say little guys. This guy is a monster, and I really feel sorry for Nikolai Volkov. You know, at once I thought he was a great guy. I thought he was a tremendous athlete, a muscle builder, you know, power lifter and all that. But now I guess he's gone to the other side of the fence. He's gone to become a fan favorite, and I can't understand why. The guy has no guts. But anyways, let's get back to another person that I want to talk about. I'm using that word person kind of loosely, and I'm speaking about Hobo Brazil Jr.
Bobo.
Hobo. The guy's I really don't want to get into it because it's going to make me madder than I already am about having to sign a match with that coconut head. You know, we embarrassed him in front of the Marion, Ohio crowd on December the 21st when I was there managing Ox Baker. We outwitted that big dummy, and he doesn't still realize what happened, but he never won the match. He never won the match. Can you imagine that? Even you must be astonished at that fact.
I'm astonished at your revisionist history because although you are right, he did not pin Ox Baker in the ring, you received a mighty cocoa butt and you were pinned in the ring while laying in a trash can. I
don't know how you can say things like that, Scott, and lie to the people here on this telephone broadcast. But I'm going to say this. I slipped on the mat, and I fell down. He never touched me. I'm telling you the truth. And as far as putting something on me and pinning me, no, that never happened. That was a figment of your imagination. But I'm going to say this much on behalf of Bobo. He's a fantastic athlete. You cannot take that away from him. He's had a lot of years of experience. He got a lot of natural ability from his dad. And he also inherited that coconut head of his. But there is a flaw in that big suit of armor that you've got him wearing. and I know just exactly what that flaw is.
Do tell.
It would be hard to outwit Bobo. Outwitting him would be like a dog chasing a car. It's okay unless the car stops, and that dog's going to either run into the car or run right past it.
Well, what is the flaw?
I'm going to tell you just a little something about, and quit trying to interrupt me, too. I'm going to tell you a little something about Jack Hansen. Do you know who his family is?
No, I do not.
Well, brace yourself, and Marion, Ohio, brace yourself. Jack Hansen is the second cousin to Stan the Lariat Hansen. Does that name ring a bell to you?
It rings a bell to wrestling fans all over the world.
You betcha. And Stan Hansen never took nothing from anybody. Never took a quarter from anybody. He always gave, and he gave very, very well in his matches. And he was a winner, just like Jack is a winner. I don't handle losers. I handle only winners that can bring me gold. Gold turns into dollars. And for the 35% that I'm getting from the two men that I manage...
35%?
Well, what's wrong with that?
Manager, a normal cut, a healthy cut is 10%.
Well, I'm a special person, sir. I am the epitome. I have taken men and women to the very top of our wrestling profession. And I'm saying profession. We are not sports entertainers like some people think that they are. We are professional wrestlers. We do this for a living, not just for a sideline, pal.
Well, let's talk about this match very quickly. Jack Hansen versus Bobo Brazil Jr. Bobo is the legend. He's got the momentum. Jack Hansen's making his debut with CCW, making his debut with you. You've got to believe that Bobo has the advantage in this. I've called Las Vegas this morning, and they give him the odds.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bobo may be a great, great man and a super fantastic wrestler in your eyes, but in mine, he's a loser. He is an absolute loser, and I'm going to show him on February the 8th why I am the epitome of wrestling managers. I may just let Jack Hansen just beat the living snot right out of him, just for something to do. Jack is not a guy that can be fooled with. I don't know whether you've ever seen Jack Hansen in action, but I can tell you this, that tomorrow night I'm going to see him in action in an arena here in the Midwest. I'm not even going to talk about it. And the night after that, he's also going to be in action. But I'm going to be in his corner, and I'm going to be advising him and letting him know how easy it is to win matches against people like Bobo Brazil.
Two other things. Well, hold on, Percival. Two other things I want to get to here in this interview very quickly.
Be quick about it.
I'm trying. The other man's contract who you have bought is Lockdown, the prisoner.
Right.
People very familiar with him. You bought that contract from Ox Baker. I can only imagine what he charged. I'm sure it was a hefty paycheck, hefty receipt.
I got that man for a bargain. I only paid $1,500 for the contract. Ox still has some residuals with the contract, but you got to remember, I still get 35% of Ox's money. So $1,500 really was not a bad deal to buy the contract. And I may take and pay Ox that night, or I might even surprise him with a better offer.
Well, the point I wanted to get to, and that sounds shady there myself, and the fans can deal with that on their own, but Lockdown has not been signed to a match yet. What's going on, Percival? Is he going to be in action that night?
He certainly will, and I'm going to make sure of it. Maybe we might just take on somebody mysterious that just happens to be in the building and make an example out of them as well.
The executive board has told me you're holding out for more money, but we'll move on from here, because the final thing I want to get your opinion on, because you do still manage Ox Baker, although Ox Baker is currently managing the Brute on this night. But Bobo Brazil is looking to confront this CCW World Champion that night. He's bringing his father's boots, his father's jacket. He wants to put them on the line. You may not be involved in that situation that night there, Mr. Friend, but you have to have an opinion on that.
Bobo got his dad's jacket out of mothballs?
Well, I don't know.
You gotta be kidding me. That jacket has to be 60, maybe 65 years old. I wrestled Bobo Brazil in the early part of my career, back in 1963 and 64.
And he
I can tell you. Did he what?
He beat you.
Absolutely not.
Let's be honest, he beat you.
Absolutely not.
Go ahead. They can check the records.
I don't care what records that you check. They only put in the record books, did you win? And yes, I was a winner. Yeah, absolutely. Whether it be by disqualification, count out, doesn't matter. I was a winner against his dad. And I can do the same thing against him, if need be. I'm still not over the hill yet, pal. So don't go counting your chickens before the rooster gets there.
You were under the trash can last time, but the question is...
I don't remember that, sir. I slipped and fell down. I told you that.
Fell right in the loop.
I'm not a liar. I am the most beautiful man in Marion, Ohio. I'm the most loved man in the whole wrestling... you have me so mixed up. I don't realize what I'm trying to even say to you, and I shouldn't be that way.
You know, you're about it.
People like you run me going crazy, and
you're about as loved here in Marion as Vladimir Putin. So think about that. The point is, though, Ox is scared to death. I know it. I've heard it in his voice. Bobo's coming for him, and he's coming for you as well. And that is not going to be a happy moment when he gets his hands on you, which could happen on February the 8th, 7 p.m., Valentine Violence, 775 North Main Street. I know, I'm losing this Jew.
Now you're doing it.
I know. Well, you got me going.
I know that Ox Baker scares you.
Oh,
you know why? Because Ox Baker could scare the devil into going to church. Stop and think about that for a minute, sir.
It's going to be a big night. Remember, Percival Friend will have his man, Jack Hansen, who's related to the legend, Lariat Stan Hansen.
Lariat Hansen.
Absolutely. Yes. In action against Bobo Brazil Jr., and you also won't want to miss his other acquisition, Lockdown in action. We don't know against who yet. Percival, it's always fun to be joined by the epitome of misinformation.
And, sir, it's been a real pleasure servicing you.